The biggest moment of this main event falls right now. The River Card, the King of Hearts! Griff takes down the man who would be king, Nicholas Aztec.
Who could see this coming? They now will check the stacks to make sure that he is out of here. Jordan Griff in command.
The recreational player, the only non-pro, has taken out the consummate pro, Nicholas Aztec, who shakes his head like, I wonder if I could have gotten away.
That is the all-in the call that shakes the online world. The favorite of so many online, the best ever perhaps online, is vanquished in third.
I feel like the way that Aztec approaches this game was always go by the sword, die by the sword. Yesterday, when he ended the day, he said that he just wants to feel confident in his positions. And he has seen so many hands, and King is that very similar to that. And I would imagine that he did what he thought was best in that moment.
$4 million payday sold by Israeli wife Ava. Wow, Jordan Griff gets ready for heads-up against Jonathan Tamayo for the top prize, the bracelet and title of world champion. Aztec on the outside looking in now.
Griff has talked about making this final table being a dream come true. How long can the dream last? It's now lasted to heads up for the main event title.
Both Griff and Tamayo guaranteed $6 million. They're going to play it out for the top prize and the bracelet. After a short break to get the table prepared. We take a look at, as you mentioned, the great ball of stunned nature of Jordan Griff and Israel right now. GTO Wizard Borges. Two left. Jordan Griff over $400 million. Tamayo $174 million as we get set for heads up for rolls. Well, what a quick bang situation that was. Want to run huge loss to take down big pots, unleash your potential. GTO Wizard, the most sophisticated poker solver in the industry. Try it now at gtowizard.com/pokergo and get free access to all features for the first 24 hours. A short break, and we will be back for a heads up, a championship moment coming soon.
Well, a downright seismic ripple through the fabric of this final table as Lena 900, Nicholas Aztec, has been dispatched so improbably, and the deck just had notions of violence here early. Welcome to the break desk, Alina Jad alongside Nick Shulman. I confess, a little bit ill-prepared to be down to heads up already here. Early goings from the Horseshoe in Las Vegas. Breathless I am at the idea that an exchange of that magnitude, one which carries with it a $2 million pay jump for the two remaining combatants. Let's take a peek at their stacks, Nick. It is going to be the Griff Show, the man who carried the chip lead into this particular final table now. $432 million in front of him. Tamayo was able to sit back, collect $2 million, and observe the collision. 174, and obviously work to do. But let's zero in and sink our teeth directly into that exchange. It was a button open from the Swede. It was a 3-bet out of the small, a call, 9-10, and a dangler. And all of a sudden, the $25 million was where we realized something could be in the air.
Yeah, I mean, 3-bet, big bet from Griff, call from Nicholas, turn very wet, two-tone jack. Griff is all in for a very big bet. I believe 1.5 times the pot.
Yeah, a little bit less.
As Steph Curry goes in the tank, and right away, we see the stretch. We realize things are getting very serious. We see the hands. When Griff goes so big here, hands we want him to have are things like ace king of clubs or ace king of diamonds if we're in Ostet's scene. So he had the right king to call with. He blocks kings, of course, and he unblocks the king of clubs and diamonds. I would think he wouldn't consider calling other king jacks. Unclear, but that's my feeling right now. I think the shades are coming off short, and he starts really kind of giving him the once over, and Griff's bet. It does look semi-bluffy. It's a tough spot for us. That I was a little bit surprised he called. However, we can understand, and again, he kind of had the right king jack to me, Ali, but still called it off. And one has to wonder, you know, he came into this feeling he had a skill edge. Sometimes you call it off, you know.
As you bore witness to his response to this 1.5x, and we see it playing out, there's a request for verification of just how much the sizing was. You went back and forth as to whether or not you thought he was going to call. At one point, I remember you saying, I think he's done with it. And all of a sudden,
Yeah,
he re-engaged.
I thought that he would wind up perhaps making a somewhat nitty fold to kind of bank on the edge that he has over these two, which is pretty objective. Not, you know, I mean, he's an all-time great, but here he's looking at Griffin. And by the way, Griffin had put the stack in a few times and had been active to start the day. So maybe Astet had ideas that Griff was, you know, pedal to the metal today or not to be pushed around. Unclear, very exciting hand. And as we see after a little more thinking, he does do it.
He really did not want to be put in this position, and I wonder whether or not it isn't with intent that Jordan Griff created these sorts of altercations. Now, granted, board texture as it were.
Not sure still if I like it, but I mean, it's a tough one, yeah.
You mentioned the atmosphere. It's kind of like playing in a football game. When you look back on this run, what will you remember the most?
Yeah, that's probably it, that everyone flew in, supported. The rail yesterday was amazing. Like, being all in, having all your friends behind, amazing. Yeah, this is gonna sting for a while, but I'm happy about how I played in general, and yeah, that's it.
Great run at it. We appreciate the time as always. Nicholas Ostet, third place finisher in the main.
You know, I don't have the flight from Orlando to LAX clocked, but I know that many took it, and I would imagine it's a significant multiple over the amount of time that they got to sit here and sweat their man. But you could see the love, you could see the appreciation, the admiration. He's been out there doing it for a long time. No matter what, very much feels like a guy prepared to live with it. I mean, he's been doing it for oh so long.
Well, that was cool how he alluded to the top-heavy structure. Man, what a guy, you know, what a run. He was so impressive. It was really cool watching this guy navigate. For me, one of the most legendary runs of all time, just given the biggest name ever, who he is. And the way he goes about his business life, I really like his pace. He kind of sits there, he's thinking, and when he likes it, boom, they just go right in. You know, he's very wily live, incredible run. As he said, it was a tough spot, and he had ideas that Griff perhaps didn't have into races. Maybe he thought it was very draw heavy, that choker is extremely hard. Bravo on the run, Nicholas.
You touched on the idea that bet was murky in the sense that it almost seemed like Griff just didn't want to have to deal with further decisions, and when that's the case, we ask ourselves, why might that be? And on this occasion, of course, for Ostead, unfortunately, it was not to be, but the toughness of the spot that Ostead was put in gives way now to the ease, potentially, for Jordan Griff to complete this final table chip lead that he brought in and maybe grab all of that beautiful cash. ABC is, we like to call it, I mean, wow.
It could be a long one, too. They're very deep. But, of course, Griff is having ideas of closing it out. His wife is there on the rail. She's expecting. They're very cute. His whole rail is very supportive. As you said, you can really feel the emotions. And for Tamayo, here he is. He's kind of laddered his way up to heads up. Not saying he hasn't gotten involved, but it's quite deep. The cash is on the table. It has to be so surreal.
Yeah, look at him, almost like a trance-like state, just soaking this all in, a measure of disbelief quite clearly that he finds himself on the precipice potentially of claiming the World Series of Poker main event and final table race. And however,
Game over.
Has anything to do with it. And by the way, he's loaded for bear in terms of Makia